Both assistant state attorneys are present, all four defense counsel. Mr. Rodgers, our witness, is on the stand. Any issues before we proceed?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, bring them out. Please be seated. I'll ask our jurors again, did you follow my instructions not talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved? Even if you did so inadvertently, now would be the time to raise your hand and let me know. For the record, no jurors lifted their hand. State.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Van Waus, after you had done your documentation and your initial assessment, did you collect items, that third step in terms of your process?
Yes, I did.
I want to show you some items that have been marked for identification. I'm first going to hand you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 12. It is LCSO number 15. It's 150552, I believe. But anyway, let me show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 12.
Okay.
Can you identify what is State's Exhibit number 12?
Yes.
And what is State's Exhibit number 12?
It's the Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P016373, and it is a hammer from marker number 1.
And was that hammer an item, the hammer that you collected from the crime scene on Jarvis Road?
Yes, it is.
And is that the hammer we saw in one of the state's photographs of the kitchen area?
Yes, it is.
Move to admit State's Exhibit number 12.
We'll show it admitted.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the witness be able to open it and display to the jury State's Exhibit number 12.
You need gloves?
I have some.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Need
Thank you.
scissors?
I got some.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
You were ahead of me.
I took the break. Sorry. I'm okay to open?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I ask that the witness be able to show to the jury the hammer that was contained in State's Exhibit number 12.
She may.
You could hold it up there for the members of the jury to see. Thank you. Now, in State's Exhibit 7B, which was a photograph we introduced earlier, if I may just show the jury what I'm referring.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the hammer that you just took out from State's Exhibit 12?
Yes, it is.
Now, in State's Exhibit 7B, we see hair on the hammer. Did that hammer that you took out from State's Exhibit number 12 have any hair on it?
No, it did not.
What happened to the hair on State's Exhibit 12?
I removed it and I packaged it separately.
I'm going to hand you what has been marked for identification of State's Exhibit number 13. What is State's Exhibit number 13?
It is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P016586, and this is hair removed from hammer at marker 1.
And is that the hair that we see in State's Exhibit 7B in the photograph?
Yes, it is.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit number 13.
Showed admitted.
Thank you. You do not need to open that. Did you also swab the? Did you also swab the hammer?
Yes, I did.
And when we talk about swabbing the hammer, what were you doing?
For this object, I was looking for touch DNA, so I swabbed the handle of the hammer.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 14. You could look at that for a moment. What is State's Exhibit number 14?
It is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P016588, and it is swabs from hammer at marker 1.
And were those swabs submitted? Oh, but let me just ask. Are those the swabs that you took from the hammer that we saw in State's Exhibit 7B and which was introduced in State's Exhibit number 12?
Yes.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit number 14.
Showed admitted.
Were those swabs submitted for DNA analysis?
Yes, they were.
And did anyone's DNA come back to those swabs?
Nothing foreign to the victim.
So when you say nothing foreign to the victim, what does that mean? And did the swabs come back to be the DNA of Teresa Sievers?
Yes, only Teresa Sievers' DNA was found on these swabs.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 15. Take a minute and look at that. What is State's Exhibit number 15?
It is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P017057, and these are vacuumings that I collected from the kitchen floor at 27034 Jarvis Road.
How do you collect vacuumings from the kitchen floor? Can you explain to us that process and when it occurs?
We typically collect vacuumings because we're looking for trace evidence. So in this case, we didn't have information of what happened, so we were looking for all types of evidence, which included trace evidence. And trace evidence is hairs and fibers or any microscopic evidence. In this case, this was collected from the countertops and the kitchen floor. This is a canister inside this bag, which is attached to a forensic vacuum. And the head is then used to go over the surface, just like you would normally vacuum. But it's just a special vacuum that collects the trace evidence inside this canister. This canister is then sealed and placed into a plastic bag and then placed into another evidence bag.
And is it fair to assume that the canister before you begin the vacuuming is a brand new canister?
Yes, they are prepackaged, sterile, caps on both ends, so there's no chance of cross-contamination.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit number 15.
Showed admitted.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 16. If you could look at that for a minute, and then I'll ask you what it is.
Okay.
What is State's Exhibit number 15?
This is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P016374. This is an Apple iPhone in an OtterBox from marker number 2.
And was that phone recovered from the residence on Jarvis Road, from Teresa Sievers' residence?
Yes.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit Number 16.
No objection.
Show it admitted.
Where was that phone found?
This phone was found on the kitchen floor near the victim. She was lying on the floor, and this would be, if you were walking into the kitchen from the laundry room, it was straight ahead on that side of the victim.
I'm going to show you what's been marked, introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 7F. And ask if you can see any part of the phone in State's Exhibit Number 7F.
Yes, you can see the half of it.
Your Honor, with permission, I'll put it on the...
Overhead, yes, ma'am.
Would you, using the laser pointer, point out to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where on State's Exhibit 7F you can see a portion of the phone of which we're speaking? It's on the very bottom of the photograph.
The very bottom of the photo. It's only half of the phone in this photograph, but it's right on the edge.
Thank you. I hand you what's been marked. I'm going to hand you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit Number 17. Take a minute, look at it.
Okay.
What is State's Exhibit Number 17, or what's contained in State's Exhibit Number 17?
This is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P017061, and these are receipts from marker 3.
And were those recovered from the residence at 17034 Jarvis Road?
Yes, it was.
Move to admit State's Exhibit Number 17.
No objection.
We'll show it admitted.
And what are those items that were recovered from marker 3? What do they contain?
There were 6 receipts. If you recall the photograph with the wallet, there was receipts around the wallet. That's where these were actually located, and these were those receipts that were on the floor.
Did you notice anything significant about any of those receipts?
Yes.
And what was that?
There was a receipt for the parking garage at the Southwest Florida International Airport, and it had a timestamp on it.
And what was the date and timestamp on that receipt?
Would you like the entry and exit?
Yes, please.
The entry time was 6:26 of 15 at 06:46, so 6:46 a.m. The exit time was on 6:28:15 at 22:55, which is 10:55 p.m.
May I approach?
You may.
I'm going to show you what we entered into evidence as State's Exhibit Number 7C. Are those the receipts to which you are referring?
Yes, they are.
And if I have put it on the document camera, if you could just show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where those receipts are on the document camera.
You can see the green wallet. These are white things around the wallet are actually the receipts that were on the floor next to the wallet at marker number 3.
Thank you. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit Number 18. State's Exhibit number 18.
This is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 15P017416, and this is a shredded document from the office shredder.
And did you collect that from Jarvis Road during your investigation of this case?
Yes, I did.
Move to admit State's Exhibit number 18.
Objection.
Show it admitted.
I'm also going to show you what has been moved into evidence as States 10L, 10M, and 10N. You could just look at those for a second. And my question is, the document that we see in those photos, is that the same document that's contained in the evidence bag that the evidence bag, States Exhibit 18?
Yes.
Let me just quickly show the jury to what you look at.
Yes, ma'am.
This was 10L. This was 10M. And this was 10N. During the collection of items from the residents at Jarvis Road, did you collect the documents and papers that we saw in the office as you walked through it with us?
Yes, I did.
And how were those documents collected?
I had help. Put all these documents from the office into 4 bins. Actually, the one that I brought in today, those size bins, there was 4 bins full of documents.
I want to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 19 and ask if you can identify that.
Would you like me to say what it was?
Yes.
This is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 19P019494, and these are documents removed from bin, originally inside bin labeled 15P017467.
So are these documents that came from one of those large bins that you were talking about?
Yes.
And did you place those documents in a smaller folder versus bringing in the huge bin with all the documents?
Yes.
And were these items that were contained within, it sounds like, that bin to which you just referred?
Yes, the items were given a new number because there was a new item created, but I listed the original bin number that it came from.
Move to introduce State's Exhibit number 19.
Judge, we would ask to see what the documents are.
Okay.
I'd ask that Ms. Van Waus open State's Exhibit, open this as it has been a sealed document.
Yes, ma'am. No objection to that, and you can come forward and take a look.
You know, I can ask Ms. Van Waus to stand down and show counsel if Your Honor prefer.
They can either approach and look at it, or you can come get it and show it to them.
They're in folders.
Ms. Van Waus has handed me 4 manila envelopes, and I am handing those 4 to defense counsel.
Yes, ma'am.
The label on it.
Yes, ma'am. Just papers, right? Okay. Show them admitted. And that was exhibit what again?
That is Exhibit 19, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Now, you've taken out 4 manila folders from Exhibit 19. What are contained in those 4 manila folders? If you could go through them one at a time, identifying, because you have a label on each of those manila folders. If you would start with one and go through them.
Each of the labels have the case number, so I'm just going to say that once so I don't have to keep saying it. And it's CFS number 15-268513. So that's on all the different labels, and then I'm just going to say what's on the bottom half of them. So in the first one, it is document removed from 15P017467, and it's removed from a green folder of receipts. And inside the folder is 1 Walmart receipt.
Thank you. I think that's fine. Thank you very much.
Continue.
And the next one, please continue.
The next envelope is labeled documents removed from 15P017467, and these are removed from the binder clip of receipts. And this is 5 Walmart receipts.
Are those Walmart receipts from a particular location?
They're from 4 are from one location and 1 is from a different location.
What are the 4? For the 4 that are all from one location, what location is that?
The address is 5420 Juliet, Juliet Boulevard in Naples, Florida, zip code 34109.
And for the single receipt that's from a different location, where is that one from?
This one is from 653, Gravois, Gravois, Bluffs, Bluffs Boulevard in Fenton, Missouri. Zip code 63026.
Thank you. In fact, since we're doing that, when you put those back in that particular manila envelope, if you would go to the first envelope you went through and spoke to with the jury and just remove that receipt again and just tell them from where that receipt is, what that receipt is and from where.
So the receipt from the green folder of receipts is from 5420 Juliet Boulevard, Naples, Florida, 34109.
Thank you. Next to the third folder.
This envelope is a document removed from 15P017467 from paperclip of documents.
And what is the document that's contained within?
This
Generally,
is,
yes.
sorry.
No.
It is a computer generated, looks like to be a letter with addressed to Curtis Wainwright Jr. from Mark D. Sievers, and they both have addresses as well, and it's dated April 7th, 2011.
Thank you. And as to the fourth manila envelope that's contained within State's Exhibit 19.
These are documents removed from 15P017467. This is from a paperclip of documents.
And what are those documents that are contained within that fourth manila envelope?
It is 4 different documents. 3 of the documents are real estate, it looks like tax forms for Jefferson County, Missouri, and they are in the name of Mark D. and Teresa A. Sievers with the address of 27034 Jarvis Road, Bonita Springs, Florida 34135.
And you said there was a fourth one, I believe?
Yes. Did you want the address that it was actually for?
Yes.
In Jefferson County? It appears to be the GJ Garden Condos.
And
then
does
there's
it
a bracket
contain an address?
It has a parcel number? You want the parcel number?
No, that's
Okay. And then the fourth document is a 2014 real estate County of Jefferson. And this is also addressed to Mark D. and Teresa A. Sievers at 27034 Jarvis Road. And this, I'm trying to find an address. It has the same strap number, GJ Garden Condos, PHS 2 Garage 70 or 70.
Thank you. And if you would put those 4 manila envelopes back into the clear envelope that's marked State's Exhibit 19. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 20. We'll take a look at it and then.
Okay.
What is State's Exhibit number 20?
This is Lee County Sheriff's Office property number 19P019495. And this is a document removed from one of the bins, 15P017473.
Is this a different bin than what those other documents, from which the other documents were removed?
Yes.
And what is contained within State's Exhibit number 20?
I don't recall what the document is.
If you could open State's Exhibit number 20, please.
Maybe the envelope.
Your Honor, for the record, I'm showing defense counsel one manila envelope that's been removed from State's Exhibit number 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Return to you that manila envelope, the one document in it has been removed. What is the one document that's in State's Exhibit number 20 in the manila envelope?
This is the lab copy of a Walmart Vision Center receipt.
And does it have a location?
The Walmart location is 5420 Juliet Boulevard, Naples, Florida, 34109.
I think move to admit State's Exhibit number 20.
I'm going to object, Judge.
Okay, you guys can approach.
The objection is noted for the record, overruled. We'll show it admitted.
For the court's permission, I'd ask that Ms. Van Waus be able to step down from the stand so that she might, on State's Exhibit number 2, note where the various items that were seized were found at the house.
She may step down, and the defense counsel can move around to get a better look if they need to, along with their client.
Ms. Van Waus, I'm going to hand you a red and I'm going to, with each of these exhibits, just ask where they were found in the residence. And we're going to start with State's Exhibit number 12, which was the red and black hammer. Where did you find State's Exhibit number 12?
It was on the kitchen floor. So right as you walk in, kitchen. That's right down
And is that what you marked as marker 1 in the photograph? State's Exhibit 16, which was the cellular phone. Can you mark on State's Exhibit number 2 where that cellular phone was recovered in the house?
It was also located on this.
Now, the receipts that are contained within State's Exhibit number 17, could you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, probably with the writing the exhibit number, but also putting a circle for where those items were found at the crime scene?
So you want me to circle the number?
And make the circle such that it would encompass the receipts. So there's a sense of the area in general. They're kind of
Scattered. So 17 was the wallet. Then the receipts were kind of around the wallet. So the circles indicate how they were kind of placed around the wallet.
So if I'm showing you what was introduced in evidence as photo 7C, which showed receipts around the wallet, is that what you're talking about for where those receipts are?
Yes.
And have you marked them with little dots?
Yes.
We're going to hand you State's Exhibit number 15. If you could again just remind the jury what State's Exhibit number 15 is.
The 15 are the vacuumings of the trace evidence that were collected from the kitchen floor. This was taken from the entire kitchen floor, so the number 15 is representative of the entire kitchen floor.
State's Exhibit number 18. They used the shredded document. Where was that again? If you could note, put State's Exhibit 18, right, the number 18, where that document was recovered.
So number 18 was taken out of the photograph that was labeled 10L. So I'm gonna. Because it was removed from that shredder.
Now, I think it may be more. State's Exhibit 19 and 20, do you know where, well, in State's Exhibit 19, which were documents that were removed from one of the bins that was, from which documents were placed in the office. Is it possible to know where the documents were in the office that were placed in the bin?
No. It was a cumulative, I just collected all the documents from the bin and placed them in 4 different bins.
So if you would put for States 19 and 20, perhaps just in the middle of the office, the numbers there.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I think you indicated, how many days were you at the crime scene at Jarvis Road?
I myself was at the crime scene for 4 days.
And for each of those days, was there something different you did, or what did you do for each of those days? What was the different approaches for each day, generally?
I kept with the method of processing the documentation, assessment, collection, and processing, but each day there was something different to do. A lot of processing was done on the day 2, 3, and 4, whereas a lot of documentation was done on day number 1.
Did you attempt to or lift any latent prints?
Yes.
And did you take swabs? I think you indicated earlier. Did you take a number of swabs?
Yes, I did.
And was that in one particular area or all over the house?
The entire house was processed for fingerprints and DNA.
And the purpose in doing that before you left the home?
In situations where we don't know who did it, we have to collect as much evidence as we possibly can, not knowing if it's important or not. So a residence is processed for fingerprints and DNA on every surface that could be touched. Door handles, light switches, countertops, faucets, everything is processed and everything is swabbed for DNA, just in case later on we find out that's important.
What was your last day that you went to the crime scene at Jarvis Road?
It was actually after the scene was released, I went back for a different project.
And later on with this particular investigation, you again were participated in the collection of evidence, correct?
Yes.
And Your Honor, we are going to ask to recall Ms. Van Waus at a later part in the trial to actually ask any questions about those matters. Would you just give us the address of the crime scene on Jarvis Road, the specific address?
27034 Jarvis Road, Bonita Springs, Florida.
And is that in Lee County?
Yes, it is.
And was that a dwelling?
It was a single-family home.
And could you tell that it was lived in?
Yes.
I do want to ask one more question before I sit down. We saw the suitcase that was in the bedroom, and we saw the suitcase that looked in photos very similar that was in the garage. Did you have an occasion to empty the suitcase in the bedroom and to determine what was in the suitcase in the bedroom?
Yes.
What was in the suitcase in the bedroom?
The suitcase actually contained another suitcase, just smaller, but the same color design. Like she stored, or he stored the luggage within itself. So it had smaller pieces of luggage in the larger piece of luggage.
And the suitcase that was found in the garage, would that have been, would one have been able to fit that suitcase within the suitcase we saw in the bedroom? In other words, could it have been nested into the suitcase that was in the bedroom?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Defense? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll be relatively brief here since you'll be coming back. You, in your testimony to Ms. Ross, you indicated that this home had not been ransacked.
It did not.
Messy.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I missed the last part you just said.
I said the home was messy, but it wasn't ransacked.
It did not appear ransacked.
Okay. Now, you collected as part of your investigation at the home, you collected firearms, cash. There was a lot of the photographs that we saw, bottles of cash. There was cash mounted on the wall. You said there was $50,000 in cash in the safes. Nothing was taken.
You asked if I collected it?
Well, you observed it. You testified to it. You said.
I observed it, yes.
Right. So all of that was in the home when you arrived, and after this incident, nothing had been taken.
Is that a question?
No, yes.
In the locked safes, I found firearms and cash, yes.
Okay, the hammer that was introduced, that was processed for DNA and fingerprints.
Yes.
Okay, and nothing was found. No fingerprints, no DNA.
There was no fingerprints noted, and the DNA was only matched to Mrs. Sievers.
Right. This time I have no further questions, Judge.
You're subject to recall. We'll let you know when you're needed. Thank you.
Mayor, may we approach?
Sure. I told all our jurors yesterday there'd be some days we stopped a little bit later, shy of 6, and there'd be some days that we stopped earlier rather than right at 5 as well. Today's one of those days. I'm going to ask you, please don't talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else. Don't look up any of the people or places involved. Don't watch any television programs on it or the news. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30. If you want, you can turn them upside down on your chairs, and you can leave them there. And when we lock the courtroom, it shouldn't be a problem. No one will mess with them, and if they did, I'll know. There's cameras everywhere. Please be seated. Anything else at this time from the state till tomorrow morning? Defense? See everybody tomorrow morning. We'll be in recess.